Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Hi. If you read out this email aloud, please keep my name anonymous. I started following your shir middle of Shkolim. And I haven't missed a day since. That's when you started? No. Approximately 1 week ago, the last year. Thanks for ruining it. Challenging for me and my family. My shver was nifter. Listen to this. Rabbi says he's going through a rough period. Shver is nifter. He lost his job. His wife wasn't well. His son had 3 surgeries in the last year. I think that's more than one person can handle. As a mother, father, husband, I kept going strong up until about a week ago when I just busted and I couldn't do it anymore. I wasn't sleeping, eating. I even stopped learning the daf. I was sitting most of my day crying to Hashem until one night. It was 2:45 a.m. and I said to myself, why am I giving up the only thing I still have, which is your shir? So I got right back on. Baruch Hashem, I caught up to date. 1 week later, not everything's perfect, but at least I feel I accomplished something that day after learning the block. So I just wanted to say thank you for an amazing shir. You have no idea what you do for people. Not everyone expresses themselves, but you should know you make a difference in people's lives. Thank you very much with tremendous respect and akaras atoiv. Nachman Seltzer. Please don't mention my name. He's in Chutz La'aretz. I gotta. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? I met you just recently, no? Don't tell me you were here yesterday? Yesterday. Hi, Rav Eli. I travel every day to Koilel in Yerushalayim from RBS Gimel. Oh, finally an Avrich writes an email. Whew! Baruch Hashem, I love the shir and it's benefiting and my family so much. Oh, I missed. I learned the daf during Ben Azdarim, he says. Baruch Hashem, I love the shir and it's benefiting me and my family so much. I try to show my girls parts of the shir. I learn and they love it. My oldest daughter, 4, has been recently asking me when the next siyum is, and she's very excited to learn that it's very soon. The next day, I received these 2 cards on my shtender from both my daughters. Needless to say, thank you for everything, Rav Eli. Your Talmud from Kiddushin Daf Beis. Kind regards, Ezra Amsalem from Ramah Gimel. And if you're an Avrich, send those emails in. David, is that you? David Hochhazer? That's you? You wrote this email? So this is David Hochhazer? It is you. Okay, you got to keep on top of this. Purim Katan. Rabbi say Purim Katan. The Ramah begins Orach Chaim with the pasuk of Shavisi Hashem L'Negdi Tamid, and ends Orach Chaim with the description of Purim Katan, the pasuk of Toiv Leiv Mishteh Tamid, which is appropriate for Parshas Tetzaveh, which is the first time the carbon Tamid is mentioned. And I'll add, of course, that's what he meant, David Hochhauser, is that the daf is Tamid. It's the biggest Tamid that we have in Klal Yisroel. The day in, the day out, the grind. But I'm not sure the significance of all that. DMH, Yishakayach. Rabbi, I got to read this. I just got this on my way here. Dear Moiri Virabi Reb Eli Shlita, who is that? Peretz Chaim Levine. This coming Sunday in Cleveland, at the Lander Haven Hall in Mayfield Heights, there will be a Frum Business Expo. The Cleveland Corner Business Fair, and MDY will be represented there. Yisrael Safran, whose father is one of your oldest Talmidim, did I meet him over there? We'll be manning the MDY booth. He'll be giving out MDY merch on a first-come, first-served basis to those who sign up for the shir. On Wednesday, I'll be manning the MDY booth at the Queen's Parnassa Networking Expo, the Young Years of Jamaica. A table that costs usually $2,000 was given to MDY at no charge by MDYer Yaakov Sorel, one of MDY's reps in Queens. Cyril. Yaakov Cyril. Last year at the event, I signed between 20 and 30 people. Now, Be'ez Hashem more because it's Bava Metzia and we got to get to 1,000. Avi, what did you do so far? How many people did you get? I don't want to put you on. Really? We're going to learn about checker today.
I like it. I told Mrs. Shulman
Edit that out. Edit.
No. They need to know that people think we're only normal, and they need to know we have a few loose ones. Naftali Rosenberg. I want to be one of the 1,000 new members for Bava Metzia. However, I live in Borough Park. I don't have internet access, my house or my phone. I think it would be really great if we can set up some sort of phone line to listen to all your amazing shiurim. I'll gladly help out to get them running. Thanks so much. We have it on email. And what else? We have it on Kol Haloshon. We have it on Torah Anytime on a phone line. What is it? What's the number? You put it on the screen maybe. Let me ask you, Yosef, once you're here. If somebody wants to put something on their status, where do they get these status videos and pictures from? Over here? Yeah. Okay. Click over here and it'll send you to the status group. There's over 770 people on that status group. Somebody just sent me that email. I'll read it maybe on tomorrow, Sunday. Yeah. Rabbi, that's how I remembered. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. The Parnas HaChodesh, Yosef Bas Chayil, Lilu Nishmas. Is this reversed again? Chayil Bas Yosef. Yeah, it's reversed. Yosef. Lilu Nishmas. Chayil Bas Yosef. I should know that name. Lilu Nishmas. Zechrya Ben Moshe. And the Rabbi, I guess when we do the sponsors, the Olam goes to Zoom. Not a bad idea for those who otherwise space says that Eli Dykeman in the left top corner. Eli, you coming next week, Eli? Yeah, we're looking forward. Okay, hopefully he spends Shabbos here in Mapet Shemesh, yeah? With his son who's finishing Baba Kama, a youngster. He finished a bunch of Masechtas. Yeah, he's only like 13 or something. Ahron Fraiman should be a zchus for Reb Eli siyadta teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Mazal Tov Ahron, Rav Eli in the time mishpacha on the birth of Sophia Ruth. Parnas Shavua, zechus for my daughters, SB Bas SR and EM Bas SR to find shidduchim bekorov. Parnas Shavua, Pressman family zechus for Refuah shelaima for our mother Rochel Bas Rivka Hennah. Parnas Yomi, Yoni Merzel, Eli was my father, Reb Eli ben Yishayo, on his 21st yard side today on Purim Katan. His neshama should have an aliyah. The art of the month, sponsored by Anonymous for the zchus for needs of childbirth for his daughter and a healthy baby. Rabbi Isai, you know that this next Friday, not today, one Friday from today, we're starting the amazing Masechta Baba Metzia, the famous Prokim, Shnayim Oichzim, Elu Metzias, Hamafkid. You have an opportunity tonight in Shul, tomorrow in Shul, to go over to people, go out of your comfort zone, and ask them if they're learning Torah, ask them if they're doing the daf. And you know how many people dropped out of Baba Kama? It's a pretty tough one. Baba Metzia is going to be easier and a lot of fun. Go ask them. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but you know the debt of gratitude that these people will have to you for the rest of their lives. They'll call you, they'll text you, and they'll say, thank you for coming over to me that day in Shul. It's a little uncomfortable, yes. If every one of us went over to one person, we'd have another 25,000 people here doing Bava Metzia. We got to get to 1,000. Our boys say 1,000 new people. Help us out. By the way, Shirley Goldstein is doing an amazing thing. He wants people to learn Masechtas Megillah from today, Purim Katan to Purim. Hundreds of people did it last year. Sign up by him. I don't know what the thing is. Go to shirleygoldstein.com, something like that. But a lot of people, you could do it. He gave me a whole thing that there was 250,000 hours learned in Masechtas Megillah on YouTube, something he did some cheshbon. Oh no, with All Daf. All Daf has even more views than YouTube, obviously, and the other ones in Torah Anytime. Beseder, Rabbi Isai, we have a beautiful daf here. I have a shayla for the oilam. Don't be embarrassed. Please get out of your comfort zone and raise your hand to this question. You're going to have three options. You hear Rabbi Isai, and if you don't raise your hand, I'm going to have somebody escort you outside. Everybody be part of this. Stealing from a goy. Option number one. Issa d'oraisa. Anybody say it's Issa d'oraisa? Raise your hand. Hold on, the Rochel will start to raise his hand. So maybe you guys. We have 4 or 5 people. 5? 6. It's getting better. If I wait around there. Option number 2, it's Issa d'Rabbanan. Anybody? Option number 3, it's mutter. A lot of people didn't raise their hands. So let's do this again. Rabbi Isai, I'm serious. Everybody raise your hand. You cannot raise your hand on one of three options. Option number one, stealing from a goy. Listen. Mendy. There's only one of the three. It's not a trick question. Stealing from a goy. Okay, fine. Rabbi Isai, no machlokes. Stealing from a goy. Issa deraisa. Raise your hand if you think it's Issa deraisa. Oh, we got more people there. We got a minion. Rabbi Isai, put your hands down. Simon says, stealing from a goy. Issa derabanan. Not bad. Rabbi Isai, not Issa derabanan, not Issa deraisa. It's bad for you. It's a terrible thing. Motor. Okay.
There's one sheet that says that it's mutter.
Which cup?
Rabbi Isai. Okay. We're not in our sugya. Rabbi Isai. Stealing from a goy. Issa deraisa. Okay. So all of you out there in the business world who think it's just a guy, you can steal. It's Issa deraisa, and if you put something on top of that called Chilul Hashem, now you have one of the greatest averos of all time. Omer Avina. We're holding 4 lines from the bottom of Kuf Yud Beis Amud Beis. Now it's not. That's how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. The Rambam paskins like that. We'll hold it by that. You want to find the shita not like that? It's possible. Huh? They go into nafkir between Gezel and Gneva. Just to be ma'ir the oilam. I think there's a minig, and the oilam thinks a little bit differently than that. The oilam should know stealing from a guy is a deraisa like stealing from a Jew. Omer Avina, it's in the same line in the Shulchan Aruch. Chai shlucha derabbanan mehem ninan le ki beitrei. Says 4 lines from the bottom, Kuf Yud Beis Amud Beis. The shliach that goes and summons somebody to Din Torah, he's believed like 2 people, and he could say that the person that he summoned was Mesarev to come to Din Torah. He refused to come. That's to put the guy in cherem. Al psicha, but to write a shtar nidui, interesting halacha that the person that's being put into cherem has to pay for the expenses of the bezdin. Yeah, sometimes they make people pay for their jail time, for different things. We're going to make you pay for the shtar and the soifer. So, since it's a mominus and that can only be done with 2 people, since he has to pay for the document, a single individual doesn't have the right to make somebody pay money. You need 2 people. You could put in charge. Just the bezin comes, knocks on the door. The guy's not there, so they're going to come back every 5 minutes. They tell a woman, "Hey, you know that guy, right? Okay, when you see him, tell him we were here. We want him to come to bezin." That also you could trust a neighbor to do his job. And that's only when. Now we have a bunch of conditions here. When do we trust a neighbor or a woman? When the guy is not in town? But if the guy's in town, then we cannot put the guy in cherem based on the fact that maybe famous Maisa with Reb Label Eger, the grandson of the Rivka Eger, he's famous for, as the Litvaks like to say, going off the derech, he became a chassid. And Reb Label Eger learned by the Kotzker, and his father sent him a letter, you should come for Shabbos. And he didn't come, and the father was makpid. Made a payda. He said, he's going, he became chassidish, and now he doesn't even listen, I'm asking him to come for Shabbos. They say he was nifter. And the Kotzker was very upset because the guy that was the shliach to bring the letter never gave it, never brought the letter. So, you have to do your shlichus. You can't put a guy in cherem because maybe this woman told him to come to Bezin and he didn't listen. Why? So there's a few situations we have to go out of our way to believe that something happened there that he didn't get the message. The The woman, the neighbor says, listen, I'm not going to waste my time now knocking on his door. He's in town. They probably bumped into him and they told him themselves. The Bezdin is on 13th Avenue, middle of 13th Avenue. When he goes to work every day, he passes by the Bezdin on 13th Avenue. So she assumes, or the neighbor assumes, that he passed by the Bezdin. Some guy saw him passing by and told him, hey, come to Bezdin. So I'm not going to go knock on his door. If he passes by the Bezdin, then we don't put him in chayrim. If he comes back from out of town trip that day, perhaps the guy forgot. The kitzer, what happens here? We could rely on the woman and the neighbor if he's not in the city, if he comes back that same day, and if he doesn't walk by the Bezdin. Okay, people forget stuff. I said a joke yesterday, but the Olam didn't like it, so I'm not going to say it. Oh, my Rava. Okay, fine, I'll say the joke. So, this older couple, the man looks at the wife, he says, could you please make me pancakes? She says, sure. She says, but write it down, because I don't want you to forget. She goes, I never forget anything. She says, but don't forget the syrup, write it down. No, I don't forget anything. 20 minutes later, she comes out with the steak. So he looks at it, he's real annoyed. He goes, but I asked with mashed potatoes. You see, he gets the element into it. Omar Rava. So, if it's a different day, then a person forgets. Omar Rava, very simple halacha. A bunch of little halachas here. At the end of the Masechta, we got to fit in all the halachas of Bava Kama here. Person that they wrote a shtar that the person's in cherem. Why? For two reasons. Either because he didn't show up to Bezdin, or because he's not listening to the psak din. So it depends. At the end of the sugi, it's going to depend. Let's say the guy says, "Oh, I'm going to come. Take me out of this cherem already." You don't tear up the shtar. You don't take him out of cherem. If he didn't listen to the Torah, let's see him pay the guy. Up until that point, we're not going to rip up the shtar. Says there's one exception. The kivin the Omar Tzeitin Karin Le. Person says, I will pay. Once he says, I will pay, rip up the cherem. Take him out of nidui. Why? Because he's saying, I want to pay. So pay. He doesn't have money. But as long as he's willing to listen, let him go get a job. But when a person says, I will go to Bezdin, so go to Bezdin, it's next door. What do you mean, I will go to Bezdin? What's stopping you? Money, something's stopping you, but to go to Bezdin, it's right here. It goes like this, Rabbi Isai, very simple. You don't see it? Okay. It's not like we give the guy three options. We call him, we say, come to Bezdin this coming Monday. Okay. He doesn't listen, so now we invite him to come on Thursday, and he doesn't listen, then we invite him to come on Monday. When do we write the cherem? Not on Monday afternoon, not Monday night. Tuesday, we give him a full day. We invite him and invite him again, bossa zimno again, 3 times. And the following day, after Monday, kasvinu, that's on Tuesday. Says the Gemara, Ravasi was shocked to see the Rivka Hennah summoned a woman to come at night to the Bezdin. Ubetzafra, she didn't show up. She was a meredes. Ubetzafra, because of Allah, psicha. He put her in cherem immediately. How's this fit in with what we just said? You get a chance. You get a Monday. You get a Thursday. You get another Monday. You don't even do it that day. You wait another day to. Oh, by the way, let me just zoom in here. I forgot to zoom in here. This is the Ksav Siruv. Hinaloi diabzeh sheyois v'alit gimpel kastel, because Hashem is. This is from Nazir. Kitzer, he didn't do this whole thing. It's beautiful. This is how it looks actually. Musarav in Torah. He was becoming the psak. Okay. Says the Gemara. You get 3 chances, 3 strikes, not 1 strike. We're going to be male chauvinist. Men, The anis v'lesa b'masa. Why? Because they go out of town and they work. Avalitza, usually a woman is in town. There's a seat right here, especially your brother's seat. You're allowed to sit on it. Avalitza, given the issa b'masa v'le'asya moiredesi. She lives in the city. She's a moiredes. We have in our shir, huh? Right. We have in our shir Bentzi Novak, whose sister is a Haredi. She has 8 children, and she's the only female frum pilot in the world. She works for Elal, and she flies the new commercial. She works the New York route. So she goes out of town. She's literally out of town. Not only that, she has to stay in New York for 2 days every time, every trip. So something like that, obviously, you can't put her in Cherim because she didn't show up. And if a guy is in Kailol and he never leaves town, he's here in town, so he would have the halach of the woman. We're just saying, in general, in those days, women never left. Men always left. Today is very different. We don't summon somebody, any Jew. We don't summon in the entire month of Nisan. That's when they harvest the wheat. That's when they get the grapes. And it's interesting. We had once in the sugya. I didn't look it up. I remember it was like Rava. Rava told his talmidim, "I don't want to see you in the months of Nisan and Tishrei. All you yeshiva guys go out to work. Bring back parnasa because you can make a lot of money during the. People need extra hands in the farm. So go out there, go cut the wheat, go help them with the grapes. Come back later. Very busy months. 2 months a year. You don't summon somebody Erev Yontif. He's running around like crazy. You're going to summon an Erev Shabbos. It's interesting. I'm just thinking to myself now. I just thought about it now. Here in Israel, slightly different. You don't really have that running around so much. When I lived in America, you didn't really see it at least. Over here, you go to the merkaz, there's people, and they're buying pitzuchim, and they're buying this, and they go, you know what I'm saying? There's like people going and coming, and people are holding flowers and buying wine. It's a whole matzah, Erev Shabbos. You don't really have that so much in like Geula, people go to the whole, maybe they do it, an individual, and people don't see it. It's not as concentrated in one area. The supermarkets, but over here it's like in the dry cleaning, you're picking, going in the Eli Dykman, you come next week, Be'ez Hashem, go to the Merkaz, you know what we're talking about. Yeah, right, because Friday is an official day off in Israel. When in America you have Sunday, people work here full day on Sunday and they get off on Friday, right? That makes sense. Huh? They offer, for sure. People do the extra dapim then. You're right. Here's the chiddush. I could go to a guy on Nisan when he's in the farm helping out, harvesting the wheat. I could give him a document that says, come the following month. In Tishrei, come the following month. But I cannot do that on Erev Shabbos. I don't say, hey, come on Monday. The bezin will be open. We're waiting for you on Monday. Like Havino, my timer. But if it did the Shabbos Torah, he'll forget. He doesn't have enough time to concentrate with this. You have a whole month. During that month, here's the thing. He'll forget 1 or 2 days, but then he'll remember. Let me go to bezin after Nisan. So there was the special shir called Kala. That was every Shabbos. And the special shir 30 days before Yontif called the Regel. Like a Yontif. So we don't want people to be scared of the shir because it's a great opportunity to catch people. They come in there. Yeah. They come to learn Torah. And all of a sudden, and by the way, we want to see you in Bezdin. So what's going to happen? They're not going to come. Boys, I always like this video. I found it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Basically, in New York, they pulled up a big shtick. People have warrants for their arrest. Now, the cops don't have time to go after this guy, especially the smaller crimes like DUIs and this and that. If it's a homicide, a tzicha, okay, we'll go knock on the guy's door. They got 3,000 people in one day to show up voluntarily to the police station and give themselves up. How? It wasn't a police station. They opened up a center and they said, listen, you want a giant screen TV, a 75-inch TV. Is your name so-and-so? Yeah, he gets all excited. And they have big TV cameras outside. And as he walks up the steps, and you won, yeah, I won. He comes in and he has to prove that it's him. So he pulls out his license, he shows it's him. And then they say, just go into that room over there. Here, let me show you how it looks. The guy's simcha. Just look at the guy's simcha. As he's being arrested, he has no clue. He thinks it's part of the shtick even. Here we go. Look at that simcha. Yivaldik and everybody over there, they're all detectives. Even the guy in the flag. Yeah, this is real. Look at the simcha. I just got arrested. They do it nice. They're nice to them. 3,000 people in one day. They told them, oh, you get the football tickets and this. They got all. Anyways, we don't want people to feel like that. I'm going to come to the shir. I'm coming to the shir, and all of a sudden I get arrested. I'm going to stay away from shir. No. Says the Gemara. Yeah, a little bit of a bait and switch. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No. You have also the Kamid Rav Nachman. When they come to Rav Nachman, they would say, the guy suing, would tell Rav Nachman, hey, Rebbe, so-and-so is coming to your shir soon, could you please have him come to Bezin? What, I work for you? You think I gathered all these people to have them arrested, to have them come to Bezin? I'm here to teach them Torah. You figure it out on your own. Vayidna says the Gemara, but there's a lot of liars, chayshinon, so then you could still do this during the shir. You learned in the Mishnah if the father left over achrayis. Now, typically achrayis means real estate. So we learned it, and we're just doing chazar now. Then the yasim has to pay back. What does it mean? Rebbe taught his own son. It doesn't mean that if the father left over real estate, it means that if the father left over even a metalton like a car, a cow, that's recognizable that it's so-and-so's. Chamor, u'mechamer achrov, Rabbi Isai, we have here the van. This guy obviously stole the van. It's not his. It's an MDY van. Did you get your free bamatzia? I put the just joinery sticker on the van. I'll tell you why. Because when I was in England, I couldn't believe it. In Manchester, so Shimi Leifman took his van and he put signs all over the van about the daf. He drives around the city with a clean-shaven rabbi holding a fish. And people say, "What is that?" He says, "Just do the QR code." And you'll figure it out. Here, this was on where is it? There's another one, the back of his van. Here it is. This was actually on MKY. Look at this. Look, it's all about the Yomi. Join dafyomi.com. This is what he puts his prime real estate. Instead of telling people here, I built stenders and kitchens, and I do, what's the name of the famous Lavi furniture? He's the official Lavi furniture here. It says in the bottom right corner. Official Lavi of all of Europe. He puts, it's all about the Yomi. Unbelievable. So that's why I put on this thing. Here, where is it? How come it's not going? So you look closely, it has his joinery thing on his thing. I put it on there. Okay. We pay back. He puts MDY on his van, we put just joinery on our van. I'll go on him. Okay, so if the guy stole this van, obviously it's not his van, so the Yisrael have to give it back. Because the father. Boy, many Rav Kahana Rav, so Rav Kahana asks Rav. If a Ganav stole a bed, here we have a picture of a Ganav stealing somebody's bed. Oh. Now it says on the bed, Yankel the Shlufer. Yeah, Yankel the Shlufer. So what's the halacha? Could you keep a bed like that in your house? Nobody's going to see it, right? It's not. You're not driving around in the streets. On the other hand, your guests will see it. So. Yes or no? I told you one halacha about a cow. You figure out by yourself. This means also take what I taught you. Yes, there's a big bizayon to the father. When people come in, they see the table says somebody else's name on it. The bed says somebody else's name. Says the Heilige Mishnah, you have people that are ganovim. The guy from the customs. The guy that takes taxes. We have a great picture of the customs. If you want to know what customs looks like, here we go. Here's a guy. So, if the customs take... Now, it has to be that we have a little surprise there. Look at this guy. Who does this guy look like? The guy on the left. He comes to the shir all the time. Yeah, you see it says Morty on his... Here he is. Okay, anyway... We wish Morty Refuah shelaima. He's in the house. So anyway, but the moichas is a ganav. Now I have to tell you, first of all, I said this Maisa, but now we're talking about Meches. I was in America for a few days with Mayor Koenig, and we flew back. And an hour before landing, he sees me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm putting on my Meches shirt." So what does that mean? So I took off my white shirt. I put on a blue shirt. I said, because they like to stop yeshiva guys. We look suspicious. And I said, I never bring in anything like 100 iPhones and cigarettes. Bring in meat and stuff like that, and meat that's even mutter, pastrami, cooked, but they make me crazy to take it away. No, it's not cooked, it is cooked. I don't have credit for it. I told, you wear white, they're going to stop you. Shtuyot. So he said, okay, let's try it out. So we walk out of the thing together, we're just schmoozing together. They call him over. Get over here. Ask him. He lives right next door to you. Ask him. Anyway, you're not allowed to get change from a Meches guy. We're going to see in the Gemara, he's a Ganav, not this Meches guy in particular. If they're taking the meat home, sometimes they say, oh yeah, don't go with the meat before Lag Baimer. You're toast. They'll take it for the mangals, for the barbecues. But if the guy's a Ganav, he does his own thing, then the coins in his box are all Gneva. So even if you give him a $100 bill and say, give me $100 change, usher. It's all stolen coins. It's all stolen denominations. And the same thing for a tax guy. What? Oh, so let's see. Says the Gemara, Ve'ein noitlim mehem tzedakah. You're not going to even take tzedakah. The Bnei Yisachar says that, he says in Agri de Pirka, ois pay beis. Check it out. He says you're not allowed to take money, even for tzedakah, from a guy that's a Rosh, a Ganav, like that story that I know, mamish, firsthand, of a frum guy that stole $1 million and he built a mikveh with that money. It's usher to take that mikveh money. It's usher. He says that what happens is that the koyach hapoyal goes into nifal bekitzer, the midas and the rishis of that person that stole the money goes into you. You acquire his midas rise. Huh? Yeah, let him build bridges and stuff like that, sidewalks. Not your koilo. Are you trying to be more head for the koilo? Anyways, there's a lot of stories about Gdolim not taking money, each in their own, ask your own Rav. I'm not passing. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. I didn't say that what the Bnei Yisachar says is lahalacha and it's like this. Maybe it's a good idea. But you could go to the guy's house. Not everything in the guy's house, not all the money in his house is stolen. In that box, you got to be careful. Tana. But he could go get, let's say he's collecting his meches, he's collecting the tax. He could give him a larger denomination and take back the change. Also problematic, if it's stolen, how can he take it? Okay, so it's some of it is yush, some of it not. Okay. And the customs, V'amar Shmuel, Dina de Malchusa Dina. And now this is a massive sugya, not for Daf Yomi shir. There's a concept called Dina de Malchusa Dina. The halacha, the whatever rules a king makes, you have to keep. So there's a lot of discussion. Is it only with kings, or it's also with governments, like in our day? Some of the svara is, you live in a place, you want a civil society, you don't want people killing each other, robbing from each other, speeding, doing all, you want the government that you live in, you give them the authority to take care of business and do things. Get you electricity, water, pave the streets, do whatever they need to do. You want that. So you bought into it. On the other hand, there are those who say, and I'm not getting into it, and it's very political and this and that in Eretz Yisrael, there is no Dina Malchusa Dina because every Yid owns Eretz Yisrael and nobody has the right. So there are groups that say this, and groups say it's a mitzvah to steal from the Medina. Some say it's a mitzvah, it's the Raisa. There's a lot of stuff, but it's a whole sugya. The art scroll has an Arichos Dvarim, look over there. And we are going to move on. Omer Rav Chanina bar Kahana Omer Shmuel. So how could you steal from why can't you take change from the guy from the customs and from the taxes? He's appointed by the government and he has all the right in the world to take that money. It's because he goes above and beyond. He does lefnim mishur sadin. The government told him to take 10% taxes. He takes 20, 10 for the government, 10 for himself. So a guy like that, you don't have to. He's a ganav. The Bei Rabbi Yani Amri, b'moiches ha'imid me'elov. The most gewaltige story, I mean, it's a crazy story, it's probably never happened, but they say that in Bristol in England, or some say in the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago, there was parking there, and for many years, everybody knew the guy. He was an old, nice guy. One day, the guy died. And, funeral, this, that. After a few days, there's nobody attending the parking. So the zoo called up the city, said, are you going to send somebody? The guy died. The city said, what are you talking about? It's yours. Back, forth. They realized when they built the parking lot, the guy came with a truck, put a little booth there, put a sign up, parking. For 25 years, he's been taking thousands of dollars a day to himself, this pocket. He died. Nobody, that's it. He shot. Whether the story is not true or not, it doesn't really matter. It's a great story for this thing. But he decided on his own. He goes knocking on people's doors. Shalom Aleichem, I'm here to pick up the taxes. Oh, he's a ganav. Ikid the Masalaha, and now we have two other sugis that this could apply to. Similar, but not exact. So we have a person who, in those days, if you wore the clothing through customs, you don't have to pay on clothing. I have a chayal that lived by me for over a year. His name is Yitzi Baum. He's just by me. And there's a lot of traveling. So he said, I just lost my entry into the United States. The quick global entry. What happened? He walks in and the guy says, what are you wearing on your hand? He says, it's a Rolex. He says, let me see. He takes it off. He says, this is brand new. You're trying to bring in a new Rolex? And he was right. The guy caught him red-handed. He was trying to bring in a nice, you have to declare anything over $10,000. He's Ganav, pay the taxes. We're revoking your global entry for life. That's it. You can never, no more global entry. But if you wear it, so you put on a client. The top layer is client. On the one hand, you're not allowed to wear client. You're not allowed to wear shatnez. But I'm not enjoying it. Look at me. I'm schwitzing like anything. I'm hot. So, machloik is here. Masnisin the like Akiva. The Sanya also have riach zameches. You're not allowed to cheat the customs to bring in and wear shatnez. It's unbelievable. Like Svardim, they can't even try on a suit. They can't put on a canali. All these companies that have shatnez, they can't try it on and say, okay, but I'll take care of it afterwards, even for a second, right? That's how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. We Ashkenazim go with the Ramah, so we're able to at least try it on and then go pay the $150 to remove it. So, so what's the machlokes? Are you allowed to put it on in order to dodge the customs? He's not trying to benefit from the clothing, he's just trying to steal from the meches. But are you allowed to steal from the customs? You're not allowed to. Again, that's the sugya. He took above and beyond. He decided to be there on his own. And some say it's on another sugya. Let's say a guy's coming with a lot of meat into Eretz Yisrael on Lag Boimer. He knows these guys are going to take it home to themselves. He walks in. He says to the guy in the meches, no, you can't touch it. It's truma. Truma. The guy in the meches, he's makbid. He's not going to eat truma. He's not a kohen. Okay, might not be so affiliated. Yes, affiliated, but truma not. Or he tells him, this meat is for Bibi. Sent as a gift from America. Bibi. Oh, it's Bibi's meat. It says here, for the government. You're not allowed to. Oh, so people are scared. You say it's for the government? So they say, yeah, really, it's truma? Swear. You can do whatever you want. You can make up any story to save your meat. You make a neder, I'll never eat anything else if this is not truma, like I'm saying, and lamaisi you're lying. Nodim laharagim, people that kill, charamim, lamoichsim here, moichas. Shishal truma, shishal base melech, it's the kings. Abishayna shal truma, abishayna shal melech, even though you're lying. Lamoichsim. What about they're allowed to take your meat away? He went above and beyond. He's saying too much. He stood there by himself. So, without going into too many details here, because I saw these videos they bring from the Gemaras, look at the Jews, what they say about it. It says here Knani. The article goes into the whole arichos. Knani means dafka. Knani from those days. V'hamevin Yavim, v'day lechakim beremiza. Knani. Okay, it's a Knani. Only a Knani from the time of Avram Avinu, a Knani. And then you see on the side it says also there was certain times in the Kufas when the guy went through the Gemaras, they had to change things. Here, the Am Yisrael Uknani Anos. Not just a Knani. An Anos, a terrible person, says on the side, it was during the censor. Shabol Din, they added that word. The Yochel is Akei B'din Yisrael, because this is a hard halacha to explain. If you could tell him that in the Jewish law you lost Zakeu, V'mar Loikach Dinenu. This is how we paskin. B'din Knanim, let's say you went to or you tell him even in the non-Jewish law Zakeu, V'mar Loikach Dinchem, even you paskin not in your favor, in the Jews' favor. You do some shtick, divrei b'shmal. Kiddush Hashem. So the famous pasuk, it's one of the biggest isurim in the Torah, maybe the biggest isur. It's Yahar Gival Yavar. If you are in a position that, for the most point, you're going to make a chil Hashem or die, you're supposed to die. Not to make a chil Hashem. It's a terrible thing to do, chil Hashem. Seems like only because he'll find out the guy himself will be upset at Jews. But if he won't be upset at Jews, you're allowed to. Is it mutter to steal from a guy? Not a guy. A Kanani. How do you know it's also that if a Jew sells himself as a slave, then you have a mitzvah, the family has a mitzvah to redeem him. So maybe redeem him like Yosela Schumacher. Yeah, the famous Yosela here in Yerushalayim when he's a kid, they kidnapped him. They believed that they were going to take him away and off a Yiddishkeit. So they kidnapped the whole Eretz Yisrael was upside down. Then this is what he looks like today. The guy in the center. So before I forget, I just want to show you Yochel Yigalim Olav. So the Gemara learns from a pasuk that's also to steal from a guy because you're not allowed to steal the slave from the guy, even though you should pay for him. Yochel Yigalim Olav maybe should be a gailam and pay double what he's worth in order to get him out of there. No. It should be done honestly, normally, whatever the market price is, that's how much you pay. You don't let the guy take advantage of you. Sponsored by Kidnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and the zchus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fega. Amen. Who happens to be my son, my dear son. Zchusim for Reb Akiva Simcha Ben Fega. So I just want to show you the Shulchan Aruch, so you don't say that I made this up. Shulchan Aruch, Choshen Mishpat, Hilchos Gneva, Siman Shim Mem Ches Siv Beis. Kol hagoynev afilu shava pruta, one pruta, oiver alav delois tignoivu. Vayikra Yotes, Pasuk Yud Aleph. V'chayev l'shalom. Echod hagoynev momen Yisrael, or hagoynev momen goyim. Na knani, na prizi, na yivusi, goyim. And then it says, V'echod hagoynev Purim Katan, and then the Ramah in small letters, I won't even read it out loud, talking about tos, goy, if you're allowed, or the Gemara is going to go into it. Lafkel v'asay mutar, ubavachlo yidel, shelo yivod aloi, that there shouldn't be a chil Hashem. The lekach chil Hashem, he says. Okay. One of the big problems when a person steals from a non-Jew, and then they put in the newspapers that the rabbi stole from the non-Jew, so you're in addition to the Issa D'Oraisa that he did, it's a tremendous chil Hashem, and there's very little kapara that you can do. You made a chil Hashem to the whole world. So this is how the Jews act. The Jews are ganovim, etc. That we said that you're allowed to steal is from a Knani, but from a ger toishav now. What's a ger toishav? A ger toishav is a guy who keeps the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach, and he refrains from avodah zarah. Which, such a guy, there's a mitzvah to give him tzedakah, to be mechayeh him, and in the Bir Halacha it says, the Chafetz Chaim says in Bir Halacha, that you might be able to be mechal Shabbos for him in the Rabbanons, because he accepted upon himself Sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach, and he doesn't do avodah zarah. So the Gemara wants to make a distinction between a Knani and a Ger Toishav. Well, they're both in the same pasuk. They both have the same halacha. Why? It says that if you do all these averis, you're going to end up selling yourself. And not only are you going to sell yourself, you're going to sell yourself all the way to avodah zarah. Here, it talks about a Ger Toishav in this pasuk. It talks about a guy. Mishpachas ger, The guy. It'll be mamish the worst of the worst here. Yoshi had a shtickle ADD, and this is only this Rabbi Yisai. I'm sorry, I went too fast. You can only watch this if you're you didn't take your medication today. There's a lot of stuff going on here. He sold himself to a guy, a Avodah sorry, and then marry or go whatever. Okay, go figure it out. So the Gemara makes another distinction. You're not allowed to steal from a guy. But if a guy gives you a loan, you forgot about it, then, I'm sorry, not a guy, a Kanani, a Prizi, a Vusi, then you don't return it. You don't have to return it. Wait a minute. It makes no sense what you're saying. When a Jew sells himself for $1 million until the Yovel, and he stops working, what is he doing? He's reneging a loan. He took money, he borrowed money, let's say, from the guy, from the Kanani, and he, instead of working, he's not working, so he stole the loan back. He didn't pay him back the loan. He owes, instead of, if he wants to stop working, he's going to have to pay him $1 million, and now he's not paying back the $1 million. That's Afkar Sava. Says Gemara, no, you're right. The reason why Eved is different because the Eved Ivri is not, it's not a loan. He acquired his actual body, the guy, the Knani. Omer Abibi Bar Gidol, Omer Reb Shimon Chasida. Gezel Knani Osir. It's Osir to steal from a Knani. Avidosoi, but if you find something that he lost, Muteres. That's Muter. Obviously, if you combine Din and Chosadino, you live in a country where you must return things. I think that's the law in America. If you find something, you should return it. No, I don't know. I don't know the exact laws. I'm assuming there's something like that. So you give it back, Gzeiloi Osur, and then of course you have the famous story with the Kiddush Hashem.
Noah Murroff and his wife never imagined they'd hit the jackpot.
We just had it. Okay.
$150.
What?
Plastic bag, like a shopping bag. In that bag, I can already see through the bag. It looks like a $100 bill.
A whopping $98,000 worth of bills.
He gave it all back, and she gave him a whopping $1,000, I think it was, or something. The Kitzer, Al Pi Halacha, he's not mechuyev. Al Pi Kiddush Hashem, there's an Inyan. The Yerushalmi brings down a real story where a Tana found, I forgot, somebody found a very, very expensive jewel which was worth more than all his salary for his entire life, and he decided that it's a bigger Inyan and mitzvah to make a Kiddush Hashem than to have that money. There is something like that. How do you know it's Asur? How do you know that it's also to steal from a Knani? Here's a very interesting question. It's not so interesting to some people. Some people think it's pashut. I know Reb David is going to jump out of his seat when I ask the question. Are you allowed to cheat on a test, your final exam, going out of medical school, to become a doctor? Cheat on your test, cheat to be a lawyer. Are you allowed to cheat?
No. Like it.
Moshe Feinstein says that it's Issa Deraisa to cheat on a test, and he says that it's Mamish Gneva because it's not Gnevas Das. Gnevas Das is a lower level. He says not only is it Gnevas Das that you're fooling your employer, he's only hiring you because he thinks you're a smart individual who passed all these tests and got great grades on his LSATs and then in law school, But every time he pays your salary, you're stealing from the salary. He would never give you that money if you didn't have those credentials and you weren't as good as you said you were. So it's Gneva. Okay, different shilas. Avidosim Teres. How do I know that if you find something from a Knani, it's mutter? The halacha of Hashavas Haveda Zachicha, your brother. Maybe that pasuk is only talking about, so you didn't pick it up. You don't have to go crazy and find the guy. Today's Purim Katan, even though we're running out of time, I have to mention this story because it happened on Purim a number of years ago. With Leo Jacobs, I said the story and I'll say it again. With Leo Jacobs, when I gave him the bonus for the koilol, he said, "Do you mind if I guess how much is in the envelope?" I said, "No." So he said a number, I don't remember the number anymore, 2,743, whatever the number was. And I was shocked. Like, where did you come up with that number? We opened up the envelope, and that's basically what it was. It was minus 2 or 3 shekel. And he said because he found on Purim night, he found an envelope without a name, and it took him 2 hours of a Purim night. Nobody wants to do this on Purim night, but he went around looking for the owner, and he found the rightful owner. He said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he kind of teased me with that money, and I was Mekayim a mitzvah of Shabbos Aveda, I knew I'm going to get that money back somehow, and he was Mechaven. Because I took all the money that was donated to the Avrechim, I just divided it up, so it came out to an odd number. So you're not mechuyev, maybe you're not mechuyev to run around for 2 hours and find the guy. But once he had it in his possession, he has to give it back. The word motzasa means it already came into your house. If you're going to cause a chilul Hashem, avidosay asura, osur, you're not allowed to take the aveda. Omar Shmuel, ta'usay mutaris. If the Kanani gives you more money than necessary, I went through a toll booth once, and the woman gave me $10 extra in the change. So I stopped the car, I pulled back. So $10. It's not 98,000. 98,000. I wouldn't be able to be on me than $10. And she said, if you wouldn't have returned it, it would have came out of my pocket. They count the money and they count the cars. She's appreciative. Okay, but you're not mechuyev. To also, they give you more money, they pay more now. The Paritz tells the Jew, you owe me a lot of money. Kitzer, they make a whole cheshbon. Turns out that the Paritz owes the Jew money. He made a wrong calculation, and he took the books and he threw it into the fire. So the Jew went to the Rebbe, and he said, Rebbe, what should I do? I'm nervous to take the money. If I take the money, what if the Paritz remembers something and he realizes that I took the money? He said, you don't have to worry about it. What are you worried? He's going to remember? When is he going to remember? He doesn't dam Shemona Esrei. Yeah, it took a few seconds. He bought, sometimes you go to a garage sale, you get lucky. The guy says, here, I'm selling this copper bowl for $4. It turns out it's pure gold. Happens once in a while, happened to me 5-6 times already. Nah, never. Happens to the other guy all the time. Bimar, it was a golden bowl. Bimar de Parzilo Barbazuzi. He's selling it as if it's copper. Va'avlele Chadzuza. One of the most interesting things that happened to me here is I'm looking at Rashi. Rashi says that instead of giving him 4, he gave him 3. But the Art Scroll says instead of giving him 4, he gave him 5. So I look in the Hebrew Art Scroll, instead of 4, 5. So I looked in the Mesifta, it says no, instead of 4, 3. Why? Why did the Art Scroll jump away from Rashi? I don't know. Usually they go with Rashi. I don't know Pshat. But Rav Adler says Pshat in that maybe he's going with the Art Scroll, that he wanted to see if he's a Ganav. And he gave him a little extra just to see, is he going to be honest with him and say, hey, if he would be honest, then maybe he would rethink this whole trade and say, look. So, I don't know, maybe that's why the Art Scroll picked Rav Adler over Rashi. I don't know. Says the Gemara, I know he brings that different people say it, but they usually go with Rashi. Why go away from the simple Rashi? Says the Gemara, he said, let me buy 100 barrels, and the guy messed up and gave him 120. And according to Rashi, instead of giving him whatever $1,000, he gave him less. And then he told him, listen, I'm counting on you that you did the counting of the barrels. I'm not counting. Basically, he knew that it's more, but he pretended or made him think that it's his fault. Ravina bought a palm tree for the wood. I want you to take the better pieces, the wider pieces, because we're going on based on number. You take 5 pieces, I take 5 pieces. I want the larger ones. The kusi doesn't really mind how large they are, so give it to me. Rav Ashi, this is a very interesting story that we can learn something from this. Rav Ashi is walking. He sees a bunch of grapes hanging down in the street. Go check out. Either kusi ninu aisi. If it's owned by the kusi, by the guy, take them. And if it's owned by the Jew, don't take them. Shama kusi to have a Yosef Pardesa. Unfortunately, the kusi overheard the whole conversation. Omerle, the kusi shari. What, you're allowed to steal from a guy? So Rabbi Isai, this is a typical story. It happens all the time. What's the normal thing? You heard the rabbi saying straight out, if it's a guy, steal. If it's a Jew, don't. He didn't say steal. He said give it. But it's obvious that he meant take it. He has reshus to take it. He's walking down the sidewalk. You're allowed to take somebody else's grapes. We just learned the whole sugya. Gezel, Akum, Masur, the Shulchan Aruch Paskins. You hear me? To steal from a guy is the Issa Deraisa, Shulchan Aruch. Not everybody raised their hand. Only 5 to 10 people raised their hand when I asked the question. You could have been here and you would have raised your hand in the right way. Says the Gemara. Now I asked because everybody, yeah, of course this is the right. But when you ask them, they don't know. But what really happened here, Rabbi Yisai? What really happened? The Tosfos says that this is taka what happened. It wasn't an excuse that Rav Ashi used. He really meant it. Wow. Have a wonderful day. So I'm going to lay the kusi shari. I'm lay kusi shakal dmei Yisrael shakal dmei. I'm Rav Ashi. I'm the Galador. I wrote the Gemara. I was finding out whether a Jew owned it or a non-Jew because no Jew in the right mind would take from Chaim Kanievsky 2 shekel for grapes that he wants to eat right now. Nobody would take money from Rav Ashi. I don't want free gifts. If it's a Jews, I want to keep on walking. But you overheard it. You heard that I'm a Ganav. That's why Rabbi said you have to be down like zchus. Have a wonderful day. Gewaldige Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos 8:30. Shir Hamalois. Mimamakim Kursi Chadinoi.